the White House, a show where we get you the latest from the 2024 US election. On today's show, we'll tell you how US President Joe Biden seems to be using the Diwali celebration to woo the Indian voting bloc as the South Asian community seems to be moving away from the Democratic Party. Also on the show, we'll tell you about Elon Musk's new cab that has an uncanny resemblance to an old Nazi font. All of this and much more, so let's get started. President Joe Biden celebrated Diwali this year in the grandest style. In classic Diwali tradition, the White House was lit up with ceremonial diyas and oil lamps symbolizing the victory of light over darkness, and maybe also hoping for a political glow-up as well. But this year, Biden's festivities might be more than just a cultural celebration. It's a strategic message to draw back Indian voters who may be reconsidering their support for Democrats.
Together, we may show the power in the gathering of light, the light of knowledge, the light of unity and truth, the light of freedom for democracy, for America, America we share and cherish. Only in America is everything possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Welcome to your home. Happy Diwali, America. God bless you all.
Now, this year's Diwali celebrations come at a critical time for the Democrats. While the party's presidential candidate Kamala Harris is of Indian origin, there are indications that Indian Americans may be reevaluating their religion. Now, this comes as Indian Americans have voiced out their concerns over immigration, inflation, and education, sparking debate about whether this voter bloc is still as reliable for Democrats as it once was. Now, the Biden administration has been facing challenges in keeping younger Indian American voters engaged. With shifting economic concerns and a growing interest in GOP policies, many are reevaluating whether they align politically with the party or not. Republicans have gained enough traction with this group in recent years, challenging the Democratic hold on a key voting bloc. Now, according to the annual Heritage Outreach Survey, Kamala Harris has an approval rating of about 61% among Indian Americans, while Trump is at 31%. This is down from the 2020 election numbers when Joe Biden enjoyed an approval rating of about 68%, while Trump was at 22%. Now, President Biden's Diwali celebration tonight serves a dual purpose: to honor and value the major festival and to highlight Harris's historic place in his administration, hoping to rekindle the connection with the Indian American voters. So, could this celebration of light and unity shine enough to keep Indian American voters on the side of Democrats? Or are we on the verge of witnessing a political shift? Only time can tell. Moving on, a major shake-up has occurred in America's political commentary. Monday night's primetime debate on CNN's Newsnight with Abby Phillip escalated into a nasty war of words. Conservative panelist Ryan Gidasky made a wild statement on his fellow panelist and journalist, Mehdi Hasan. Now, during a heated debate ranging from US election to West Asia conflict, Gidasky made a controversial on-air exchange. In his statement, the Conservative speaker told Mehdi Hasan that "I hope your beeper doesn't go off." Take a look at how this moment unfolded.
My problem is, I get it. Nobody wants to be called Nazis. It's very inflammatory. But if you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing it.
You've been called an anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people will sit there and... No, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that...
Did you just say I should die?
You should not.
No,
Did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did your guest just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope
Guys,
you don't...
let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you said I'm a big supporter
of the Palestinians.
Of Hamas?
Guys, let me
I said
stop.
Palestinians.
Are you?
Am I what? No, of course I'm not.
I apologize.
Are you a racist, violent person inciting violence against me?
Ryan,
That's disgusting.
that is completely.
No, I apologize.
Good job, CNN. Let's have first block say the Muslim guy should be blown
I
up
apologize.
on TV.
Now, Hassan's response was in reference to September attacks where pagers and walkie-talkies used by Hezbollah members in Lebanon and Syria exploded simultaneously. This attack killed about 39 members of the Iran-backed crew, and this attack was widely believed to be carried out by Israel. Now, the host, Abby Phillip, said that the Gidasky's beeper comment was completely out of pocket and was made to apologize. But after a commercial break, he was gone. Now, CNN has also issued a statement saying that Gidasky won't be invited to the channel anymore. And this decision to ban a commentator reflects a delicate balance news networks have to maintain. Now, given the intricate nature of this year's presidential election in the US, Networks are increasingly aware that their platforms are influential and that they're keen to avoid normalizing divisive and personal rhetoric. Now, the ban has triggered mixed reactions across the political spectrum. Some viewers have commended CNN for setting a boundary, while others argue that this opinion could be represented even if it's controversial. So, as the dust settles, CNN's ban on the commentator raises tough questions about the freedom of expression, media responsibility, and the nature of political debate on television. Now, this incident is a stark reminder that while political commentary is essential, maintaining respect and civility is just as crucial in the media landscape today. Moving on now, Elon Musk's recent appearance at Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally earlier this week has stirred up a controversy, not only for his attendance but for his choice of headwear. Now, sporting a black Make America Great Again hat, for any random individual, the font of the letters on the hat would be associated with what heavy metal bands use. But for those who looked closely, the hat quickly prompted debate over its potential association with Nazi-era imagery. Some social media users speculated that the letters resembled Franktor, a Gothic font used by the Nazis, while typeface experts argued the font was not exactly Franktor, but they agree that it evokes a certain historical weight. Now, the black letter fonts were used across Europe long before Second World War, often in religious and official documents. However, they were co-opted by the Nazi regime in Germany, embedding them in Western consciousness with darker connotations. So today, while they don't automatically symbolize fascism, the visual association still remains. The Nazi banned the font from official communications in the year 1941, with Hitler himself alleging that it was created by a Jewish individual. So though the ban was likely due to readability concerns, and while the choice of font may seem obscure, it was enough to cause a stir given the rally's location at Madison Square Garden, a site where a pro-Hitler rally was held in the year 1939 by the German-American Bund, drawing in an audience of about 20,000 people. Elon Musk's black letter MAGA hat has clearly struck a cultural nerve, combining political statements with a visual style that invokes a complicated history. As always, Musk has managed to keep people talking, with some questioning his intentions and others defending his right to make bold, stylistic choices. Now, whether the hat's letters choice was or not to the venue's dark history or simply an attempt to provoke, the choice didn't go unnoticed. And the whole incident is a reminder that in today's world, symbols and styles carry weight. And for someone like Musk, whose actions are always under the microscope, every choice has the potential to spark a debate. Kamala Harris took center stage at a massive rally in Washington, D.C. As many as 75,000 people turned up for the event as the Democratic Party's presidential hopeful delivered her closing argument, describing Donald Trump as someone who's unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power. Our White House correspondent Rohit Sharma was on ground covering the rally, where the atmosphere was electric. Take a look at our next report.
We are in Washington, D.C. Tonight, Kamala Harris is going to be addressing a big rally right here in Washington, D.C. She's going to be talking to Americans and making her last pitch, her last sort of set of arguments, which has been called as closing argument by her campaign staff. Now, this event will be attended by more than 25,000 people is what we've been told by the campaign. A lot of people walking in, as you can see probably behind me. The rally is going to start at about 7 p.m. Eastern. But this is a very important event. The reason being, we're only 1 week away from the election, and most independent voters have still not made up their minds. If you look at all the polls that have come through, the race is essentially tied. 2 days ago, Donald Trump made his case at the Madison Square Garden in New York City, where he made his final pitch. But tonight is the night when Kamala Harris gets to come to literally a block away from the White House. The White House, what is she running for? And make a case and appeal to all Americans that she is the best candidate to win in this election cycle. And right behind me, you can see throngs of people walking towards the ellipse. On this side right there, that is where White House is, right over that red building that you see. You know, that's if you go through that street, that's where White House is. This is the White House executive building right here. And you could see a lot of people now finally walking towards this big rally. This is the big closing arguments rally here in Washington, D.C. You could also see Washington Monument right there. one of the biggest events here in this election campaign. This has been billed as closing arguments. Now, what does it actually mean? It actually means that Kamala Harris is basically reaching out to every American through this rally in the last week of the election, trying to make sure that she can make a case for herself.
And now it's time to talk in numbers. With less than a week remaining for the US presidential polls, the race for the White House remains intense. Vice President Kamala Harris is still maintaining a narrow lead nationally and a neck-to-neck battle in the swing states. Let's take a look at how both the presidential contenders are faring in polls today. According to a New York Times poll, Harris is leading in the national polls with an approval rating of about 49%, while Trump is trailing at 48%. In the swing states of Michigan and Wisconsin, Harris is maintaining a lead at about 49%, while Trump is at 48%. In the state of Nevada, both Harris and Trump are logged in with an approval rating of about 48%. In the state of Arizona, Trump has taken a lead, this time with an approval rating of about 50%, while Harris is now at 47%. Now, in the crucial state of Pennsylvania, Trump has again taken a lead for the first time with an approval rating of about 49%, while Harris is at 48%. And in the state of Georgia, Trump is leading with an approval rating of about 49%, while Harris is at 48%. So with the polls swinging left to right every day, the election is getting highly intense as both Harris and Trump are logged in a nail-biting race. And now, it's time for some quick updates from the political landscape in the US that you might have missed. First up, Joe Biden took a swipe against Donald Trump supporters as he reacted to the Republican presidential candidate's weekend rally at Madison Square Garden. In a call organized by the Hispanic advocacy group, Biden responded to a comic at Trump's rally who called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The president further added that the only garbage he sees floating around are Trump supporters. Moving on, Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance has been downplaying the racist joke from Trump's MSG rally. Now, during his own rally in Wisconsin, Vance said that anyone who's offended should just take a chill pill. Now, Trump's running mate also went on to say that this country should learn to take a few jokes. And at last, former US President George Bush's daughter, Barbara Bush, has endorsed Kamala Harris in a razor-thin White House race. Bush has been described as an independent, but her family has a long history associated with the Republican Party. Now, this comes as a small but a vocal group of prominent Republicans turned off by Trump's extreme rhetoric has endorsed Harris. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Race for the White House. Stay tuned to India Today Global for more updates on US elections.